Welcome to this lesson. So in the last lesson, we saw about the browsers, the units of measurements, and how to create your Svg tag. Just to show you how this looks, even though you don't know how to create this, let me just show you how it looks. If you were using your brackets, you have to go to File and Live Preview, and you'll get a live preview opened up in your default browser, okay? But if you're using a notepad or something like that, you have to go inside to the folder where you created all your files, and then you have to click on the index.html and you'll get your file opened up, okay? So this is our file. So we have a text in here, some text, and then we have our SVG, which you probably can't see right now because it's actually invisible, but I can change that. Let's add a border to our SVG. Okay, so right now I've selected SVG and it has a border, so I can show you how it looks. So there you go, it's a very big image. Because we gave millimeters, 500 millimeters is a lot, so that's why it looks so big. And then at 100 pixels and 100 pixels, we have our circle in here. Okay, 100 pixels and 100 pixels of the center. Alright, so that's how your SVG images look. I'll teach you how to create all of that in the next few lessons. Okay, so in this lesson, we'll be looking at, I'll be adding what each lesson is about in a comment above the HTML file, okay? So just so you know what it is about. So in this lesson, we'll be looking at displaying SVG in browsers. So there you go. So one of the simplest ways of displaying SVGs is, as we saw, by using the Svg tag within your HTML, but that's not the only way. There are multiple ways of doing the same, and we'll be looking at all of them in this particular lesson. So you can include the SVG images in your browser in a variety of ways. The most common way is by using this particular code in your HTML page right inside your body tag. Remember that it has to be inside the body tag and not inside the head tag. It won't work. This is more like another element of your HTML. Okay, just like the p tag, whatever has to be displayed is inside the body tag, right? So the SVG is something that has to be displayed inside your web page. So mention it inside the body tag. Since we already saw how to do that in the last lesson, let's not look at it now. Let me just remove this. So it's 500 pixels because 500 millimeters is too much. So this way, the SVG image that you draw inside these tags will appear wherever you want them on your HTML page. Okay, so wherever you create them in the HTML page, that's where they'll appear. So you can also create a separate SVG file, which can be used just like your regular PNG or JPEG file. Let me show you one. There's already a separate SVG file that I downloaded from the internet. It looks kind of big because it's a complicated image. Don't worry about that. So this is how you can create a separate SVG file with image name .svg, okay? And you can open that particular SVG file in your browser in any way, like this. Can you see here? It's showing the Chrome symbol because it can be opened up in Chrome. And when I open it, I get the image right here. So this is how you can open your separate SVG files, and this is how you can create them. Let me show you how to create them. So to create a separate SVG file, just create a new file. In brackets, I can just right click and click on new file. You can also do it in your folder, right click, new, and then you can create a new text document and name it as the file name .svg. Remember that the extension has to be SVG, otherwise it won't be an SVG image. So let me create an SVG file, example.svg. Okay, so we have an SVG file. Okay, just remember that it has to be saved under the extension of .svg. So inside this SVG file, you can write your Svg tags again, the tags that we used in our index.html, these two tags. You can write them again in here in our example.svg, just like this. And you can write the code for your image inside this. Okay, you can include your drawing codes inside these two tags. There is just one difference though from the Svg tags you embedded in your HTML page. The Svg tags in here, they cannot be written just like that because you're creating it in a separate place and you don't have the support of a HTML document. So you need to remember to use 2 namespaces, okay? Or Firefox and other browsers might not render your file as an SVG, but it might consider it as an XML file. So as you know, SVG runs on XML. So XML is a very big part of how SVG works. So if you don't mention certain XML namespaces while you create your SVG tag in the separate SVG image, then the browser would take it as an XML file, and as you know, XML files are just text files with a bunch of randomly made user-made tags. So it'll consider it as an XML file and you won't get your image. So in order to avoid that, you need to create your namespaces, okay? I'll show you how to do that now. So the first one is XML and S. Okay, so that's the first namespace declaration. You don't have to memorize all of these, just copy them down, write them down or something, and that's enough, okay? And as you can see here, since I'm using brackets and it's a very advanced software, it's giving me what I need to include. So within quotes, there you go, okay? Do you see here? So it included quotes and it gave it to me. So and then you also need XML and S. See, again I'm getting my prompt because I'm using brackets. So that's one of the advantages of using an editor, because they have a lot of ready-made stuff that you can use. Okay, sorry, it has to be an equal to, and again I'm getting my prompt. So that's it. So these are the 2 XML namespace declaration you have to include to let the browser know that this is not an XML file but actually an SVG image, and it has to render it as an SVG image and show whatever is inside it. So it has to show all the images inside your SVG tags, okay? So please remember to include this, and please pause the video and note these down. So once you do this, all you have to do is include your code, okay? So let me take this code, let me take this circle code, and I can include it here in my example.svg. Alright, so that's how you can do it. And you can also include your width and height. Width is equal to 500, height is equal to 500. Okay. So now that we have our SVG image, so once you create it, you can include it in your HTML page in multiple ways, because that's why you created it. You created your SVG image so that you can use it on your web page. So one of the easiest ways to do that is by obviously using the image tag of HTML. So let me remove this. So the first way was by embedding it directly inside your HTML body tag, within your HTML body tags. And the second way is by creating a separate SVG image, okay, with the namespace declaration, and then embedding it inside your HTML page, okay? So we can either use this or we could use this. So this looks much better, right? So it's a full-blown image. So let's use this then. Okay, I'm not sure if you can actually read it, but as you can see, they've given a width and height in here as well. So the rest might sound more complicated, but don't worry about that. I'll teach you how to create images like that as we go on. So let's use the image tag first, and let's include this SVG image. So you already know how to do all of these. So image and then the source, and within quotes we have to include our image.svg, okay, and it's an empty tag. So this SVG image will be shown in our HTML page just like any other image. Let me show you now. Let's go to our live preview. There you go. Can you see here? So this is our paragraph, and below this we have our SVG image shown just like we would display a PNG image or a JPEG image. In fact, you can also change the width and height of this image or other properties of this image as well. So this SVG image already has a certain width and height, so you can reduce it or you can increase it as you want. So let me try to do that. So image, I'm calling the image, and let me try to give it a width and height. Let's see how this works. So I'm just arbitrarily giving it some width and height. There you go. It's become smaller now. Okay, so we've given it a width and height and it's become smaller. But as you can see here, even when it's smaller, it's very clear, because that's what vector graphics are. Vector graphics have the same quality even if they are reduced in size or if they are expanded in size. So if I make this as 600 and 600, if I increase the width and height, so there you go. Same quality, but now it's increased in size. So this is one of the major importance of SVG images. The quality never changes at all. So no matter how big or how small the image becomes and how much you resize it, the quality is going to stay the same. So let's look at other ways of including our SVG image in our HTML page in the next lesson. I'll see you there. Thank you.